Should I just
Checking the audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, let's just make sure.
so what was it?
Valerie, can you hear us? Yes, okay. Okay. All right. I guess let's get started. Welcome to the July 14th, 2026 meeting of the Outdoor Dining Working Group for Community Board 2. My name is Stella Fitzgerald. I'm the vice chair of the working group. Our chair, Valerie De La Rosa, is on Zoom right now. We have Donna Raftery and Carter Booth here. And I think we're ready to get started. We only have 4 applications to hear tonight. They're all Sidewalk Cafe applications. The first one, Fusion Catering Inc., DBA Ready to Eat at 500 Hudson Street for a Roadway Cafe. That one was withdrawn. We just found out earlier today was confirmed. So we will generally go in the order 2 through 5 on the agenda, but if any applicants are here, if you can just let me know in the chat so that we know, and we can move you out to the beginning so we're not waiting around for a while. So we'll go one by one. We will ask, when we first call up the agenda, we'll ask for any public testimony. And if you would like to say anything about the application, just raise your hand and we will promote you to panelist. Then we will promote the applicant if they're here and they can introduce themselves and make a statement if they'd like. And then we will turn to questions from the committee. We ask for no back and forth between the public and the applicants. Please direct all your comments or questions to the committee. And the applicant does not have to respond to anything said during the public session. It's up to you if you'd like to. And when we get to the end of the public session, we'll move to the business session. And at that point, we won't be able to take any comments from the public anymore. It's optional for everybody to be here. We appreciate you being here if you are. It's optional to take our modifications if we have any into consideration. You know, our opinion is only advisory. So when we vote later, if you hear, you know, deny or modify or approve of modifications, it doesn't mean that your application stops here. Our recommendation goes to DOT and then they take it from there. We're just one piece of the process. Anything else you'd like to say? Okay, got it. All right. So is there any applicants here? I think I saw Gina's name in the attendees list. I can't remember which
I'll promote her.
Yeah, let's do Gina first if you're here. I'm trying to remember which. Hi Gina, are you there?
Hi. Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I didn't know I was gonna be the first one.
No problem. I forget, what number are you? Which application?
238 Mott Street?
Okay, all right, so that is number 3. Okay, so we can do 3 first since you're here, and then we'll go to the others.
Okay, perfect.
If there's anybody here who would like to testify on number 3, Boni Restaurant LLC, DBA Boni and Mott at 238 Mott Street for a Sidewalk Cafe, please raise your hand. Nope. Okay. Gina, is there anything you'd like to say? Or can you introduce yourself just for the record?
Okay, we're applying for Boni and Mott. They already applied for a Roadway cafe, which was approved already. And actually now they're applying for the Sidewalk cafe, which is only 3 tables. They are more interested on the sidewalk, even though it's a little more delimited, the space that they have than on the roadway. But like the main thing about applying is because they want these 3 tables on the sidewalk.
Would anyone like to ask a question first?
Hang on.
Here's the first, I only have 2 comments. One is that the cafe width is only 2 feet, which is not,
Very tight, yeah.
and it looks like the reason for that, is it more so because of the tree beds?
Yeah, it's the tree, it's not allowing to have more space. They need to keep the 8 feet around, and that's what it's delimiting the space for the tables.
So it doesn't look like there's any wiggle room there. But it's only 2 feet.
Yeah, if you could just explain on the diagram, so the seating can't, when I'm looking at the diagram you provided, the 1 2-top in the middle, that can't be moved to the left. That's because of the width.
Because they have the street sign also. And then they cannot have it on the hatch because they use it all the time to get in and out of the restaurant.
Right, and I see there's the other road, but no, I was just, okay, I see where.
What kind of? Okay, it just looks like it's a parking sign, so. Those.
Doesn't,
Yeah, those
Yeah.
don't require the 8 feet.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was, yeah, because the sign doesn't require the 10 feet. So that's,
Let me double check that because I remember we spoke with DOT in regards this about the 8 feet, but maybe.
it seems like you can fit more cleanly with the appropriate amount of space if it were moved to the left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or,
Could be. Yeah, if we keep the 8 feet. That's what you mean? Oh, but the other thing is that we also need to keep from the curb to the sidewalk the 10 feet. That's why we only have 2 feet.
Okay, I see.
So
That's
it's
the,
the 8 feet from the tree bed, but then 10 feet everywhere
Oh.
else. So it's
Yeah.
not leave enough space. Okay. And then one other question, I saw that there's the box checked for the Siamese connection. I didn't see it on the site plan or in pictures on Google Maps. You know where that is?
You know what? Maybe it was a mistake on the form because they don't have a Siamese
Yeah.
connection.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
So they should
I'm
fix-
sorry for that.
Oh, it's okay. We were just asked that, you uncheck that box.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
and this is just another example of the two tops, that if there weren't a requirement for
Right,
the
if it worked
barriers.
better. The other thing they need to do, I think their liquor license steps say no outside, so they make sure they file an alteration to change that.
Okay, I'm gonna speak to them so they can review that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think our only concern is just that the Hard Rock Cafe would not be ADA
Right.
compliant.
The other thing, we spoke with an ADA representative. We have the emails, all the correspondence and everything. And I would like to read you something that they
Okay.
told.
Really quickly, before you read that, is that somebody from DOT, the city, or someone you've hired? Can you just identify the
No,
ADA?
it's on the ADA website. You can talk with specialized people of the standards of ADA. It's not DOT related.
Yeah.
So she told us that the outdoor dining is replicated, the experience is replicated in both the Roadway and the Sidewalk, assuming that it's an equivalent service and they have the equivalent amenities. So I will calculate the percentage based on the entire outdoor sitting area, assuming all things are equal. Nothing on the ADA standards for design addresses a sitting footprint for accessible sitting at restaurant tables. As I stated previously, the required accessible tables must be located in an accessible route, and the tables must meet the ADA requirements for height and knee space. That's what she told us.
So it doesn't qualify for the time periods. It doesn't really count because it's not all year round, the roadbed.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
but that's issue.
but if
and
they
that's the
apply
issue
for
that
the
we've raised. Yeah, but the roadbed's not year round, only the sidewalk seating is year round.
yeah,
So
but
the
what she
sidewalk
told,
seating, even though it's year round, would be out of compliance for the
Half of the
months
time.
where you can't have the roadbed seating.
well, it's not out of compliance because what she's saying is that you can maneuver the wheelchair on the public area and just basically park the wheelchair on the space that it's designated for the sidewalk.
But the wheelchair is wider than 24 inches.
No, the required clearance is 3 feet for accessibility, but the chair is not wider than 24.
You're saying the wheelchair or
The wheelchair is not
The width
wider
of the
than-
standard wheelchair is typically 25 to 36 inches.
Okay.
That's where that issue has come up.
which is one of those gaps between the federal law and the dining out regulations. You know, if you're in compliance with the federal law, then you're out of compliance with DOT requiring the 10 feet, you know, of the pedestrian walkway.
Yeah, so I'm gonna check with the representative again in regards the wheelchair width, because she told us that as long as the wheelchair can maneuver on the public space, then it will be allowed to have it in the sidewalk space.
And did they say what that would mean for the perimeter?
No, I didn't ask.
Okay, I would be curious what they would say about that.
The issue that we found is that people selectively are asking questions of representatives without providing the full picture and the full information. And
Well,
so,
I provide the full
everybody-
information and the plans.
It's also
no,
different
I understand, but the
you got.
thing is, there's also the DOT requirements, the clear path. And the clear path and the standard size of the width of the wheelchairs is wider, and so it wouldn't be in compliance. And as Stella was pointing out, the barrier has to be within the 2 feet that's delineating the outdoor dining space. So those are the issues that keep coming up, because it's always on the cases where there's something that's slightly off and none of the issues line up. You know, as far, I mean, that's just what we found.
I get it. Don't worry.
I've also spoken to that ADA hotline before, and their interpretation was that because the Sidewalk Cafe and the Roadway Cafe are different sites, that they are both required to be ADA, that the ADA compliance does not overlap. So that's another.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand, because there's a lot of different information coming from everywhere, and I understand that DOT doesn't have the ADA requirements specified clearly. So there's a lot of confusion on all this.
I think when we met with them, they hadn't even sought it out.
Right, I was gonna say they don't have any specifications at all and are leaving it up to the applicants to have to deal with it.
And then ultimately it's,
On the applicant.
yeah, it's on the applicant, you know. who would
Yeah,
apply.
I get it.
Okay.
So I guess that's it. If you hear anything else about the perimeter, let us know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will contact this lady again, and maybe it will be good that if we are all together on the same thread, so we can all give our
Well,
different
what we'd
points.
like is for DOT to design their rules, keeping in mind the federal ADA requirements, because keeps coming up with issues. And ultimately, the entity at risk is the restaurant. And people assume that the city
He's checking.
regulations would allow, would require ADA compliance, but the rules don't actually have that. And so the
Yeah.
burden falls onto the applicants. And I think that we've raised this, that the city is the entity that should be working, that their rules are also compliant with federal
Mhm.
regulations.
As we've heard from applicants too, that they think that that it's compliant because DOT is saying it's okay and it's part of the DOT rules, and they think that means that they're
And
fine.
then this goes to the areas with the steps that are raised areas, there's all these anomalies, but the city is not creating an environment that allows for people to be compliant with all the regulations. And that becomes a burden. And I know about all the, or I'm sure you've heard of all the various sort of slap suits, right, from the ADA access, and the burden falls on.
Yeah, actually on the regulations, it just says it needs to comply with ADA, but it doesn't give any specifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not alone. 3 of the 4 that were here today.
Or
I
this
know.
spring.
Yeah, I think one of them is 1.5 feet wide. So, yeah, okay. All right, well, let us know if you hear.
I will.
Thank-
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Nice to see you. Bye.
Bye.
There's no other.
No, just Norma Cote here,
Okay.
Cote for one of the
Okay, so let's
applications.
go through the others, and if there's no public testimony, then we'll move it to business session. Okay, so closing the public hearing on number 3, and now we can go up to number 2, Sullivan Street Partners LLC, DBA Bar Moga. at 128 West Hudson Street for a sidewalk cafe.
Norma, which one she's here?
If anyone would like to testify, please raise your hand. Which one are you here for?
Oh, he's a new board member.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be
Sorry, I'm Stella. Sorry. Alec,
out, yeah.
nice to meet you. Okay.
Okay, so nobody from the public?
We'll close that one and then.
Yeah, let's save that one for business session. Okay, number 4, Fonda Nolita LLC, DBA Tacombi at Fonda Nolita, 267 Elizabeth Street. For a sidewalk cafe. Anyone like to testify?
I see no one.
We will move that to business session 2. And then the last one, Arthur and Sons NY Italian LLC, DBA Arthur and Sons at 38 Eighth Avenue. Okay.
Norma.
Alright. Hi, Norma.
Hi. I sent something in writing late this afternoon via your form attached to the calendar item. I hope you've gotten it. I also hope that I was able to attach a few photos. I'm trying to get the hang of this procedure. Both the photos and my brief comments speak for themselves. But if you haven't gotten the submission, I'll be glad to just tell you briefly what my point is.
Yes.
I see the submission, but if you don't mind just sharing it with the group out loud.
Okay. Arthur and Sons is close to a record holder, if not the record holder, for being a scofflaw. And the most astonishing thing is the contrast between the site plan that they have submitted, which claims that there's room for 2 tables for 2 in this, around this whole site. But in fact, they have been operating with, I believe, 10 tables, and some 15 tables and 48 seats. With a record like that, where there's no doubt what the rules require, and the size of the sidewalk hasn't changed from the time that this restaurant began operating out of doors until today, you have to conclude that this was a knowing and a defiant violation, and there's absolutely no reason to believe that the restaurant will adhere to the site plan that it has submitted. So I recommend that on the basis of this, the record that's been compiled by this this applicant, that you recommend that all sidewalk operations, outdoor operations be denied.
So Norma, I have a question for you. On the diagram that's submitted to us.
Yeah.
Are there any measurements that are not accurate on the diagram?
I didn't take any measurements, but I found the diagram confusing. It seems to say that the sidewalk as a whole is 12 feet 9 inches. But on the drawing, it seemed to suggest that that only goes as far as the tables. So I'm not sure what's accurate. I didn't go out to measure it myself. In my opinion, even if there were room for 2 tables here, I would say that that should not be permitted, because there's no way that this applicant is going to abide by any limitation such as this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Norma.
You're welcome.
You guys want to talk about this one now, or save it for business session? Okay, we can.
What?
What?
We can just go and close it. I mean, if we
Yeah.
don't have any more, why don't we just do them all
Yeah,
Okay,
in business session, right?
okay, all right.
We don't have anybody else, right?
no,
No other attendees? Okay, so we will move to talk about this one in business session. Thanks again, Norma. And now we will close the public hearing and we will go into business session. And start back up at the top.
okay, that's Bar Moga.
Yeah.
So that's just for clarification, that's Sullivan
Street Partners.
Street.
Right.
So this one, is also not ADA compliant. The width is only it's like 2 feet, 2 inches.
Mhm.
And again, it's limited more so by the mailbox than the sidewalk width.
And the pedestrian ramp.
And the pedestrian, which is not on their site plan. Yeah. So it's possible that if they made the cafe shorter in length,
Moved one table and just had one table.
yeah. Yeah,
Because by the time you do the pedestrian ramp, that may not.
they just put the table kind of in between.
the middle.
those two tables.
So just to be clear, the box within which they can have seating is not
Accurate,
depicted accurately
no.
on the diagram, but it can be corrected
possibly,
if the measurements are properly taken into account.
that possibly corrected.
At least the sidewalk width would allow it to be.
3 feet maybe.
These are modifications with these.
And you're saying that the sidewalk,
They're saying that,
the sidewalk ramp is not depicted?
Yeah, so the ramp would be at,
Okay, right.
over there,
yeah,
Oh, and that's the
So you need the
checkered
eighth.
white bumpy part, which is
Right.
got it. The curb cut.
yeah,
Yeah.
the curb cut.
so,
They'd have to measure 8 feet from that and 8 feet and see if they could fit a table
Yeah.
in the middle there.
so. Maybe.
They might be able to get something in. They have road bed seating.
This says that the length would be 9 feet. So if they could reduce it. Seems like a lot of room. If they reduce it, then the width will get wider.
Yeah, they can have if they can fit it with those 8 feet where the sidewalk is, the regular width, they could fit the 3 feet and be okay. But I don't think they can have 2 tables and do that.
Okay, so our modifications would be to add the pedestrian ramp. To the site plan, add the 8 feet clearance and adjust the cafe dimensions. In order to make the cafe ADA compliant. And remove 1 table to fit in the remaining allowable space.
Right.
It's also let me just double check here, but I believe there's also in looking at the Google Maps is a missing manhole.
Yeah,
To the right of the mailbox, right?
To the south of the mailbox. Which is, you can see it in the pictures that they've submitted, it's in the top right. Picture. I don't know what it's for, but
it shouldn't. Be a problem for their seating.
Yeah,
For the last.
it's just not indicated on the site plan.
And they also didn't check the awnings boxes.
The the awning is a fixed awning. Just,
And I think they also need to just come for their SLA, the expansion.
Want to
they
say
have-
that as a modification or
No,
just a separate?
no, I'm
note?
just saying it in case anybody listens to this, that they need to do that because they have the road bed and they have not come, so they should apply, just
So if the-
notify.
if the mailbox were removed.
They could have seating.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I just,
Yeah.
look, the New York Times is saying, don't mail anything.
Right, I know.
Because they're stealing checks. It's, I just
Exactly.
kind of undermines the confidence in mailboxes. For
Yeah.
like convenience.
Well, if the mailbox is removed, maybe they'll come
They can
back.
come back
Yeah,
and stand.
because then they would have a lot more space, because then it's.
I mean, obviously, we can't do that.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
just
All right, so modifications, add pedestrian ramp with the 8-foot clearance, adjust the cafe dimensions in order to make the cafe ADA compliant, remove one table to fit in the remaining allowable space, check the awnings boxes, add manhole with 18-inch clearance, and check the box. Okay, so, this would be approved with modifications.
Yes,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay. Is Valerie still here?
No,
Oh, okay. All right, so let's go to Boni Restaurant. What, Sana, do you remember the words exactly about the ADA, like comparing to, because it was service, same service and,
I don't remember.
it would take me a minute to find it, but it seems pretty, hello. You here for the community board meeting?
I was curious to see what it is.
Okay, yeah, sure, if you could just sign in,
When you say what community is this?
community board too.
I check it out fine.
I can't remember what the exact wording is about, like the same service and something, but it seems like it'd be hard to have an objective criteria for sidewalk versus roadway. You know, like, are they the same?
I mean,
They're two separate programs, right?
Right.
And that was with
That's the other
different
thing, too.
requirements. And one of the issues too with the roadways is that they achieve ADA access in different ways. If they have a flat platform, it's one thing. Some of them require a ramp setup. Some of them aren't accessible just by virtue of how they're permanently set up. So they have to make accommodations. Some are. So it's a difficult, and that's where the disappointment is, right? With the city, that they didn't put out any rules
right.
that would require anybody to achieve ADA compliance through their setup rules. And that's the issue, that everybody keeps pointing the finger at everybody else when it should just be built in
Yeah,
regulations. And that's where I just raised the comments about, if you have the roadway, since that is seasonal, but the sidewalk seating is year round, that you don't have ADA compliance actually year round, which is what the discussion that they were sharing with us, because the roadway is seasonal.
Yeah.
So that becomes an issue. And then there's a number of other areas, but we've heard this from a number of people, but it just seems that whenever it's presented, it's the nuance of individual applications and then their points missing But it should just be in the design guidelines.
Right. But they don't want to take responsibility. Nobody wants to take responsibility.
And then we had heard a number of years back about the lawsuits that are raised by disability advocates that end up being very burdensome on the restaurants, and they end up often having to settle for significant amounts of money without even realizing in some cases that they were out of compliance. In these cases, it seems like, you know, what we keep hearing is that somebody should be providing better guidance to the businesses, but there's no guidance being provided
Right.
here, even on a general basis.
Right.
But I do give credit to Gina for reaching
Well, she
out
reached out, yeah.
and trying to accommodate it, so, or trying to answer the question, so.
Yeah, interesting. It sounded like she was able to email them.
And then when I was just, when I just had looked up the, you know, we raised this question again with that the wheelchairs don't fit into the space allocated, that there's supposed to be a barrier, even if it's
Even if there's not.
even if it's a retractable barrier. So the standard manual wheelchair is from 25 to 36 inches, a power wheelchair is from 23 to 32 inches, a transport wheelchair is 21 to 30 inches. So those are all leading into widths that are wider than the spaces that are being provided for here.
Trying to find in that.
I mean, even if not just about wheelchairs, but if someone is using a walker and they need to get up from the chair, that walker is going to be in the way or the barrier is going in the way of their walker as they try to stand up.
Yep.
Okay, so we can bring this up to DOT again. We'll see if Gina seemed to suggest that she was going to add us to the email thread. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, I mean, I guess our only modification would be to uncheck the box for the signage connection.
Yep.
So would we deny with modifications on the basis of ADA?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
I-
Aye.
Okay. All right, so now we can move to Fonda Nolita LLC, DBA Tacombi at Fonda Nolita, 267 Elizabeth Street. Our only ADA compliant one of today.
Yeah. I don't think I had anything.
Yeah, I didn't have any comments. There were no primary building entrance issues.
I mean, it's another one with the perimeter that you don't know how wide the tables are and how you're serving, but
Yeah,
they seem to be managing and we're also advocating. Not have to do it.
Do we want to add that? No.
Because they don't say how wide how big the tables are, so
Yeah.
it just has to fit in there so that the service can happen. We can do.
So our only modification would be just to sign off on the ADA.
Yep.
So approve with modifications, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and the last one is Arthur and Sons.
So the sidewalk is about I had 12 feet, 7 inches when I measured it today. So it's not 12 feet, 9 inches to the table. And, to Norma's point, they haven't complied with anything. The tables are set up today the way.
Yeah, all the
this
way around.
They've been that way. They didn't apply before August 3rd. They applied in September. So they're not supposed to have anything outside after November of 2024. They've been doing it consistently. They
Do they,
also,
do they still need to come to SLA?
I'm getting to that one, and
Okay.
then so sign, well, they need to get a DOT thing, and they shouldn't have been operating this whole time because they weren't under the temporary program. And then their SLA, they signed stipulations for the outside in 2023. And they haven't complied with even what they said signed there under the temporary program, which said they would only have 2 tops on Jane Street. And there's no clear path maintained anywhere. I mean, it's not the proper clear path that's being maintained. They've got 4 feet between the tree pits everywhere, and wherever they have a table, they have no perimeter. The servers are always out there. They put more than 4 people at a table. The tables are at a diagonal. So the tables are actually at the diagonal. The way they're setting them up are 36 inches from corner to corner. The tables are 3 feet
So-
wide square.
We have all these other issues, but with the plan itself, and I just keep going back to
But the
that,
plan
because
itself is
that's
not
what's
ADA
been-
compliant.
No, right. So, and are the measurements accurate or not?
I think, well, no, measurements aren't accurate because,
So that's what I'm just
Right.
raising,
Okay,
because that's
so-
our main
Right.
issues. The other issues are secondary, but the main issue is what's provided to us and what's our feedback on the presented plan to begin with. So the
Okay.
sidewalk width is what?
the sidewalk width from curb to building is 12 feet, 7 inches.
Okay,
And then-
so they've indicated on their plan that the distance between the curb and the table is 12 feet 9 inches.
Right.
So first off, the sidewalk width
It's wrong.
is not incorrectly noted. I mean, is incorrectly noted, right? Or it's not noted. Does it say
And-
anywhere on this form where the sidewalk width is?
Just in,
we
no,
presented?
you don't have an overall.
So I just think that that's the first,
And just to note for the old sidewalk cafe that you put in the historic one from the next door restaurant, which was on the same sidewalk, that one said 13 feet and included the curb, I believe. So that is just a reinforcement that the sidewalk is that.
and then and so are these other clearance requirements? These are all appear to be correct, right? So
I didn't,
Right, so I just bring that up because the 1 foot 6 inches wide, if it's the neighborhood, it requires the 8 feet, right? So if the sidewalk is 12 feet 9 inches, they have plenty of room except the tree pits,
the tree
right?
pits and the apartment door, the primary building entrance.
Okay, so I'm just bringing that up, right? These are the issues. And so the apartment door entrance is the primary
Yeah.
entrance. And then the other issue is that this diagram doesn't reflect all the other seating
Right,
that's on the other facade of the building.
right. And they say at the top, for Jane Street, clearance ineligible for sidewalk seating.
So
So there is none there.
I had walked by here with Donna, not knowing they were on this week's agenda just last week, and there were tables and chairs
They're there every day, every
You know,
day.
everywhere. So, and there it left just a couple of feet.
Yeah.
For us to walk by. So,
With no perimeters. Well, the service happens in that couple of feet as well.
and did they even have tables out on the side?
On which side? Yes, they have it wrapped to normal.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying when we walk by.
Yeah, no, they always have them set up and it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables on West 4th Street. and about 4 or 5 tables on Jane Street, all turned at the diagonal. With the
So-
extra chairs and tables stored on the other side of the primary building entrance.
So we have multiple issues, right? One
Yes.
is the diagram doesn't appear to be accurate. The tables that they're using don't even meet these requirements.
And are not what was represented in their packet.
Right, and I'm. Yeah, I mean, it's not even clear if these measurements are accurate. And then the other part is that they're also utilizing the other sidewalk on Jane
Yes.
Street. So.
Yeah,
Do they have tables on Eighth Avenue? Yeah,
no, they don't have tables on Eighth Avenue. That's the only place they don't have
but
tables.
that's where their entrance is.
That's where their entrance is.
So I guess then the question, if they only have that one table at the corner, are they gonna serve from Eighth Avenue or from?
They do have that back door, but then they're crossing the resident, you know, if
Right,
there's a
crossing the
perimeter. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables. 1, 2, 3, 4 tables.
So our modifications would be to adjust the sidewalk width to be 12 feet 7 inches from curb to buildings. Label the apartment door entrance as a primary building entrance, which requires 5 feet clearance. Remove the table next to the apartment door. Check the box for the primary building entrance, indicate distance between remaining table and apartment door. Would we ask to stop operating current sidewalk cafe on Jane Street?
Do we do that normally? I mean, we normally
No.
just reflect on the plan that's presented, I think, right?
Say it again.
Don't we normally just
Yeah,
opine on
Yeah.
what's here? So apparently,
The building entrance.
the building entrance you got. And then the ADA compliance, because
Right.
once they do, you know,
should we even give that box to check because
it's not.
right? But do we want to give that box? This is just deny with modification. Okay. Any other modifications to add?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, so denial with modifications, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, their table actually corner to corner is 3 feet 7 inches, not 36 inches.
They do.
Because they turn it, it's a 31-inch square, so then when they turn it to do the triangle, it's 3 feet 7 inches. Okay,
All right, was that it?
that's it.
Wow. I hope Valerie's on her way home and not on her way out.
Wow.
Only
Dang.
application, so
Yeah. Any new business?
no
We did get one application yesterday. Just one.
Just one.
sidewalk or roadway.
It was Roadway.
Oh, the other thing that was interesting to me about the Arthur and Sons one, and I'd be curious to, is just that they did apply in September 2024.
Right.
So what took so long? Because DOT did push all of those sidewalks out, you know, last year.
Mm-hmm.
There were still some that had, some of the delay was the applicants
That's what I'm
not
wondering.
putting in their certificate of
That's
insurance or.
exactly. That's why I'm saying that, as I just am, I'm sure. I'm just curious.
Or the measurements.
Exactly.
Redoing the drawings.
And-
Or what, I'm sorry?
Or the measurements and
Redoing the
redoing the drawings.
Yeah, could be.
What was
Go ahead.
what was the one that they withdrew, Stella?
That was ready to eat. I think we've already heard their sidewalk cafe. on Hudson Street, did we, or am
Mhm.
I misremembering?
I'm not sure. I didn't check that.
I'm pretty sure,
No, no, maybe not.
pretty sure I can pull it up if you need it.
Doesn't really matter.
Okay, yeah, I'm wrong, we haven't heard them yet,
Okay.
but
And was it roadway that was pulled or was it sidewalk?
that was Roadway, and they just said that they told Florence that their Roadway Cafe application has been postponed for at least 6 months. And then DOT said, we don't know anything about the 6 months, all we know is that they withdrew it.
So it sounds like they're not moving forward with it this year and maybe next year they'll wait. and see.
Yeah, because that would make sense, because then that would be what, November,
Yeah.
what date? I can't do the math. Like
January.
January?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they already paid $1,000 to get as far as they got, so.
Yeah,
Could be any other issues.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
all right,
Want to go out or?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, Valerie?
Okay. All right.
Anything?
Nope, that's it. Thanks.
Okay.
I'm sorry I was not, all right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.